Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your AEW Full Gear results from the show on Saturday night. AEW Full Gear buy-in pre-show results. You can see the match right there for you. The event kicks off with a special 1-hour buy-in pre-show starting at 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Central Time. Which I didn't get to see none of it because I took my daughter to the fair and from there. Go to that link for the pre-show results. Several minutes into the pre-show now, as far as primarily been footage from the countdown to AEW Full Gear Special that aired earlier this week. Currently looking for an introduction of Santana and Ortiz to AEW by Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle, and their build up to their match between the Young Bucks on the pay-per-view. Now things are switching to look at Jon Moxley's journey to AEW and the story behind his unsanctioned Lights Out match against Kenny Omega at Full Gear. With just 40 minutes remaining in the buy-in pre-show, we're still watching the countdown to AEW Full Gear Special, which is now transitioned to the story leading into the pay-per-view itself. We switch to a live shot inside the arena where the announced team of Golden Boy, Taz, and the Excalibur check in, as Taz has now joined AEW. Check in and introduce the video package for tonight's AEW Full Gear buy-in pre-show. With that being said, we'll see the video package telling the story behind tonight's pre-show match in AEW Women's Division between Pittsburgh's own Dr. Britt Baker and B. Britley. And I believe Dr. Britt Baker was a little bit sick during before the show. So we got that match. Now it's time to head to the square circle for the first match of the night inside the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Time for the Lone AEW Full Gear buy-in pre-show match. Dr. Britt Baker and Bree Peasley make the respective ring entrances. Bell sounds, and here we go for the first bout of the match. Of the night. Every time Baker got in some offense, Priestley tucks her tail between her legs and runs for cover. She gets caught in a lockjaw submission from Baker briefly, but escapes. After a cheap shot, Priestley takes over offensive control of the match. Snatches Baker up in a submission hold while Baker lays on the ring apron, and Priestley yanks away at her neck from the floor. Back inside the ring, Priestley continues to dominate the action against the Pittsburgh Dentist. Baker is starting to show signs of life as she hits some hope spots. The two hit dueling lariats at the same time. Both are slow to get up. Priestley takes over control of the offense until finally Baker fights back and ultimately catches her in a lockjaw submission finisher. Priestley fights off of it first, but Baker sinks it in again. And this time, Priestley tapped, winner by submission, is Britt Baker. After the match, Baker celebrates and leaves while Priestley remains in the ring. Unfortunately for her, she was still there when, out of nowhere, Awesome Kong and Brandy Rhodes come out on stage. The two make their way into the ring, and the fans explode inside the Royal Farms Arena. Brandy and Kong enter the ring, and they have a knife. No lie, Kong is holding a knife in her hand. She talks to Brandy and then hits a spinning back fist that levels Priestley. Now Brandy and Kong talk about the knife again. With Kong starting to have a crazy look in her eyes, Brandy kneels down and grabs a handful of Priestley's hair. Kong reaches down with a knife and slices some of her hair off. She rubs the hair on her face, seeming to enjoy it, and then wraps the hair around her waist like a title belt. Kong and Brandy stand tall as they shoot another video package. Pre-show wraps up with another video package focusing on the announced team. Just informed that the opening match will be on Full Gear. Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson versus Santana and Ortiz from the Inner Circle, as well as the introduction of Jim Ross to the announce table for the pay-per-view commentary team. All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view broadcast kicks off with an AEW Full Gear cold open video package that was released on the official AEW YouTube channel on Saturday afternoon. After the opening is out of the way, we shoot live inside the absolutely decked out, jam-packed Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, complete with a beautiful AEW full gear pay-per-view, arena design and production setup. And our team including good old JR, who was introduced near the end of the AEW full gear buy-in, formally welcomes to the show. And it is time to get straight to the ring, out for your first pay-per-view bout of the evening. Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz. Inner Circle duo of Santana and Ortiz. Don't know if they are going as the LAX, as they were in Impact Wrestling, as they make their way to the ring, as they do AEW EVPs, and the top tag team contenders Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express, are also at ringside for the opening tag team bout. Bell sounds and here we go as action immediately gets underway. As the match develops, Nick Jackson is isolated in the ring, with Santana and Ortiz utilizing quick tags to keep the fresh guys on Nick. They are focusing on much of the attack on the knee of Nick as well. Finally, Matt Jackson gets the hot tag as he's fired up, taking out any and everything that moves. Matt gets some big spots and leads to some near falls. However, a couple of minutes, the Inner Circle Bad Boys once again in complete control of the action. We see a big street sweeper spot on the top rope after the ring announcer informs us that 15 minutes have gone by in this contest. The Young Bucks hit a crazy double team high spot that garners a holy crap chant from the crowd. Now Nick Jackson is the legal man. He hits a move or two, all the while limping badly before tagging back in Matt. Matt hoists Santana up for the Meltzer driver. However, when Nick goes for the springboard off the apron with the ropes, his bad knee gives out and he collapses to the mat. Matt goes over and puts Nick on the top rope, and now he hoists Santana up in the air with the Death Valley driver position. Santana ends up breaking free and tagging in Ortiz. The fresh Ortiz comes in and talks trash to Nick, who also tags in. Nick spits his gum in Ortiz's face. Ortiz picks it up and puts it in his mouth. Now he spits it back at Young Buck. ABC gum? Already been chewed, if you don't know what ABC meant. Nick Jackson, bad knee and all, starts fighting off both Santana and Ortiz by himself with super kicks. Before selling the leg afterwards, the ring announcer tells us that 10 minutes remains and a lot of time for this opening tag team contest. As he makes the announcement, Santana and Ortiz hit a big double team spot on Nick. Santana and Ortiz exchange tags, and now they hoist Nick up for the street sweeper. They hit it, and 1, 2, 3, it's over. Santana and Ortiz from the Inner Circle just handed the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, yet another loss in the AEW Tag Team Division. A clean win for Santana and Ortiz here for Full Gear. Highlights of the match are now being shown and analyzed by the AEW Full Gear announce team. After the match, Sammy Guevara, Rock and Roll Express Brawl. Once the match is over, Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God of the Inner Circle, makes his way down to the ring with a cell phone, as apparently he is video blogging this. As Guevara follows the members of the Inner Circle, Santana and Ortiz, in the ring, and send over the Young Bucks. Guevara pulls out a sock filler with baseballs. As the trio gets ready to deliver unnecessary post-match punishment after their victory, Rock and Roll Express hit the ring to make the save. Ricky hits a crazy dive through the ropes and a blockbuster-style cutter on the top rope, and one of the Inner Circle members. The fans in Baltimore was absolutely exploded for the big Ricky Morton spots. He is still one of the best natural baby faces in the pro wrestling game, even in his senior years, and the All Elite Wrestling fans are letting him know exactly as they shower the tag team legend with the "You Still Got It" chant to end the segment. The announce team, which is led by good old JR, breaks down some of the action still to come for later in the show. Commentary crews lists the matches that are still to come, noting Moxley and Omega will take place after every match on the show, which is your main event, as it will turn the lights out and let the unsanctioned fight play out. Next up, however, JR and company informs us is a singles match here at Full Gear. PAC versus, Pac versus Hangman Page. We head to the ring. Out comes Pac, appearing across the big screen as the intro stage and Pac's theme music hits. Pyro and fireworks explode as he makes his way down the ring. Now Hangman Page is also music hits. Loudspeakers inside the Royal Farms Arena. Fireworks and pyro go off again, and Hangman Page heads to the square circle for a singles bout of the evening. The two slug it out to get things going. Fans immediately breaking out into a cowboy crap chant as the match starts to develop a bit. Pac is taking over the offensive control in this one now. Several minutes have gone by with Pac hitting a number of high spots and delivering a ton of punishment in what has been one-sided beat down for a large part of the contest in favor of Pac. And now to point out, Pac is ranked number 2 and Hangman Page is ranked number 3 in the new official AEW rankings. So a win here will be huge for either guy going forward. Meanwhile, Page is finally getting in some offense after a big dive through the ropes onto PAC on the floor. Wonder how they're doing the ring. Kind of like college football. Pac ends up taking back over the offensive control of the match. Things continue like this all the way up to the finish. After escaping a gruesome submission from Pac that looked like somewhat of a Russian leg sweep position, but gnarlier, Hangman Page ends up pulling off the W literally out of nowhere with a pinfall, schoolboy roll-up. Next match, you got Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard and versus Joey Janela. The lights in the Royal Farms go off. The arena is pitch black, other than the cell phone lights on. What do they think this is? The old school Bray Wyatt? Where the Fireflies? Some music starts playing, and out comes the chairman of AEW, Shawn Spears, accompanied by legendary Hall of Famer, the Four Horsemen faction, Tully Blanchard. Also out to the ring is his opponent for tonight, Joey Janela. The bell sounds. And here we go. Early on, Janela gets some offense, gets some shine time, although it isn't long before Spears, usually dastardly old school pro wrestling heel tactics, complete with Tully Blanchard. Quite an active presence at ringside in terms of having an effect on the action in the ring due to his interference and distractions. Spears punches away at Janela in the corner, climbs up the ropes, and keeps punching him. Now he's messing up his hair. Yanking on it, pulling it, messing with the top turnbuckle as well. Now Spears goes back to work on Janela. Moments later, Spears catching Janela in a Boston Crab-like submission that looks dangerous for Janela momentarily. However, eventually he escapes. Janela's fired up with punches now. Janela picking up the pace in this match now. He hits a nice dive onto Spears on the floor before returning to the ring and getting him in more spots. Spears cuts his run short with a big shot. And Janela rolls Spears up out of nowhere. Spears kicks out. Spears rolls to the floor. Janela hits another suicide dive onto him through the ropes. The two quickly bring the action back in the ring. Janela delivers a couple of big punches and a suplex for another fall. Near fall. Spears fights back, removes the turnbuckle pad that he had untied earlier. The referee, who was distracted by trying to reattach the removed turnbuckle, turns his back to deal with that while Spears and Tully Blanchard take advantage of the situation, blasting Janela with a spike pile driver on the floor. Spears brings Janela back in the ring and nails him with a C4 finisher for the 1-2-3. Backstage, Kip Sabian introduces Penelope Ford. After the match, we shoot footage at the Royal Farms Arena, and we got an interview segment with Kip Sabian. Sabian, sporting a nice pair of sunglasses, talks about the need to find people you can rely on and that you can have chemistry with. That being said, in walks Penelope Ford, who kisses Sabian, Sabre talks about being bad and bringing some sexiness into AEW. Ford says that the interviewer is boring her and says, let's go. They walk off. Next matchup, we got AEW Tag Team Championship. Private Party versus Lucha Brothers versus SCU. AEW World Tag Team Champions are out first. For the next match, Private Party, Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy make their way down to the ring after passing through the red velvet rope set up on the ramp. Out next are the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix. Finally, the reigning, defending, inaugural AEW World Tag Team Champions, SoCal Uncensored. Well, who does the announcer think, the reporter think he is? Paul Heyman? Well, that's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky make their ring entrance. After a long, drawn-out formal pre-match ring instructions for this first championship contest of the evening, bell sounds and the action immediately gets underway. Good old JR and announcers discuss the official AEW rankings for the tag team division and how this match could shake up everything. Meanwhile, fast-paced action, high spots are starting to unfold in sequence as the Lucha Brothers are firing up now. The B-More fans are pro-Pentagon and Phoenix group, complete with Ole, Ole, Ole chant and Lucha chants as the decorated duo continue to take it to Private Party's Mark Quinn. Quinn finally blasts Pentagon and takes out SCU Scorpio Sky because his partner Cassidy was still selling a spot from the Lucha Brothers' previous sequence. Springboard crossbody on Phoenix, by Phoenix onto Sky, nearly gets his 3 count. Lucha Brothers want to capture the AEW Tag Team titles from SCU. Sky tags Kazarian and then hoists him up for a assisted DDT off the top rope to a seated Pentagon on for a near close fall. That's broken up. Quinn tags in, Phoenix tags out. Quinn hits a wild Pele style kick to everyone in sight before Cassidy comes in and grabs his foot and launches him twice. 4 big spots on Kazarian, who is now isolated in the ring. Huge shooting star press nearly gets Private Party the 3 count to win the titles. However, Kazarian somehow managed to kick out at 2.5. Private Party gets a gin and juice. However, one of them runs over for the Hurricanrana into the Stone Cold Stunner from the other member. Kazarian, who had the moves scouted, saw it coming and avoided it. Sky enters the ring, hits a two double team spot on the Private Party member for the pinfall victory. SCU retains the titles out of nowhere. After the match, Lucha Brothers attack SCU from behind, upset that they have twice failed to get their hands raised in competition against them in AEW with the AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line. Post-matchup beatdown begins. Another matchman enters the scene and takes out Pentagon and Phoenix. He removes the match to reveal he is none other than Christopher Daniels, the other member of SCU, who was apparently injured a few weeks ago. Daniels has his face painted black and white with a symbol on it and is crazed after being attacked and then taken out by the Lucha Brothers during the AEW Tag Team title tournament set up on AEW Dynamite weeks ago. AEW Women's World Championship, Riho champion versus Emi Sakura. AEW World Championship, Women's World Championship will be on the line in the next match. Second title bout on Full Gear. It's being built as a student versus teacher match as Riho defends her title against Emi Sakura. Sakura is making her entrance now, wearing a mustache, as the announcers explained. She is a big Queen Freddie Mercury fan. And they did some Queen music for her ring announce. When I did see some of the highlights of that, I did hear the "We Will Rock You" and all that. She's holding a microphone and a mic stand as well as the referee attempts to take it from her. So she puts it down in the corner. Rhea was out next as the fog and lights go off as she makes her way down the ramp towards the ring wearing a championship belt. Rhea and Sakura both in their corners of the ring as the match officially is announced to begin. Both girls take one another's hands in the knuckle lock. Rio demonstrating amazing neck strength. Rio is dropped to the mat by Sakura. Sakura with a boot to the back of Rio, followed by being tossed out across the ring by her hair. Rio flips and lands on her feet, following a big throw once again. Sakura with a big chop to the chest of Rio. Sakura charges at Rio. Rio ducks, causing Sakura to flip over the top rope. Sakura lands on her feet outside of the ropes. Still on the mat, Sakura flips Rio to the ground on the outside. Sakura is still standing on the outside of the ropes, making her way to the second turnbuckle, facing the opposite direction as Rio runs and jumps on the mat and stops her. Rio hits a foot stomp onto the chest of Sakura, accidentally falling as she lands out on the outside of the ring. Both women make their way back inside the ring. Rio waiting and hits a double knee strike on Sakura. Rio attempts a pin. Sakura kicks out at 2. Rio with a leg crab on Sakura, who is stretching and crawling across the mat, grabbing the rope for the escape. Referee makes her let go of the hold. Rio attempts to pick up Sakura with no luck, and Sakura stands straight up with a swinging flatliner. Sakura bringing through the arena. Rio holding her head in the corner of the ring. Sakura with a crossbody into Rio, who is still holding her head, leaning against the turnbuckle. Sakura wrapping Rio up as she screams with a smile and gets the surfboard locked in as she rolls around the ring. Rio is screaming, Sakura, let's go, as Rio is gasping for air. The crowd not chanting, let's go, Rio, as Rio is on her knees, still trying to get back to her feet. Sakura grabs Rio and lifts her to her feet. Rio trips Sakura, who lands with her arms over the second rope. Rio gets a kick to the chest of Sakura, followed by a crossbow on Sakura. Sakura stands up, mocking Rio by pretending to cry, with her balled fist rubbing her eyes. A backbreaker by Sakura onto Rio. Sakura with a reverse Vader bomb and a pin attempt. Rio kicks out at 2. Rio is laying on the mat in the corner of the ring as Sakura picks her up and gets her with her power move as Rio counters, flipping off Sakura and landing on her feet with a foot stomp on Sakura. Chops back and forth. Rio begins attacking Sakura with strikes, lifting Sakura back to her feet by her hair. Sakura counters with a smack to the mouth, followed by another chop. Northern Lights on Sakura by Rio. Rio with yet another foot stomp off the ropes onto Sakura, who is left laying on the mat. Rio gets on the top rope again, hits a foot stomp on Sakura with a pin attempt. Sakura curls into a bridge, kicking out of a pin attempt. Rio hammering Sakura once again, who counters with a back chop. Sakura with a double underhook and slamming her to the mat for the pin. Rio puts her foot up on the rope, stopping the referee's count. Sakura looks upset, and Rio with a double knees to the face of Sakura. Fast movements by both women. Rio with a knee to the side of the head of Sakura, followed by a roll up in the pin, getting her 3 count on Sakura for the win, retaining her title in this matchup. Sakura helps Rio up to her feet and congratulates her for the victory in this one. Matchup is raising Rio's hand for the sportsmanship. Rio is holding her championship belt, standing side by side. Next championship match, you got Chris Jericho versus Cody Rhodes. And the stipulation of this match, if Cody loses, he will not get a rematch for the heavyweight title. Well, you know how wrestling goes, they always change it up. Probably, at least not while Jericho is holding the belt. It's time for the final section contest for Full Gear. The richest prize of all Elite Wrestling has to offer. AEW World Heavyweight Championship. AEW ring announcer begins the formal pre-match introductions. He informs us that there are 3 legends at ringside that will serve as judges for this match, if needed. None other than Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, and the Great Muta. The lights dim down in the arena, relighting up as the pyro and fog go off, showing Cody Rhodes standing at the top of the ramp. Rhodes makes his way down the ramp as he sees his mom sitting at ringside, causing Rhodes to smile before making the way to the rest of the way to the ring. Rhodes smiling from the second turnbuckle, yelling, "Come on!" as he looks out into the crowd. Rhodes jumps off the turnbuckle to kiss the mat before jumping out of the ring to run over and hug his mom. Rhodes re-enters the ring as the crowd cheers. Next, we get the Champions music, Jericho, as he makes his way out to the stage, raising his hands, facing up to the sky as the pyro and smoke go off around him. Jericho slowly makes his way down the ramp, looking to the left and to the right, not smiling once. Rhodes is glaring from the center of the ring. Jericho enters the ring. Jericho finally with a one-sided smirk as he stands in the corner of the ring. The referee stands between the two powerhouses. Justin Roberts officially announces the match. The crowd chants, "Cody, Cody, Cody," as Rhodes is not announced first, as Jericho is announced. Mixed responses from the crowd as he raises his hands in the air. Jericho paces the ring with his championship belt still around his waist. Jericho gives the crowd a double middle finger. Aubrey Edwards holds the belt above her head. Happy birthday chant from the crowd to Cody. Actually, to Jericho, I should say. The bell rings and Jericho exits the ring, whispering to someone ringside that he doesn't want the distraction. The crowd chants Cody as the men lock up. Then release, locking up once again. Rhodes going after the arm of Jericho, attempting the wrist lock. Jericho switches up momentarily. Rhodes counters, both men staring each other down. Pacing the ring, looking for their moment to strike. Lock up once again. Jericho shoves Rhodes in the corner. Rhodes goes after Jericho, who exits the ring once again, whispering something once again. Jericho is thrown off the ropes, countering with a shoulder tackle. Hard shot by Jericho. Rhodes with a rising right hand, made famous by his brother Dustin. The rising right hand. Jericho exits the ring once again, pointing at Dean Ambrose, who stands staring him down. Jericho re-enters the ring once again. Rhodes with a waist lock on Jericho, who counters, getting a wrist lock of his own. Rhodes with a standing switch. Jericho counters with another wrist lock. Rhodes breaks Jericho's grip. Jericho gets another wrist lock on Rhodes. Back and forth. Rhodes drops to his knees, knocking Jericho out of the ring. Rhodes with a spear through the middle ropes onto Jericho in the barricades. Both men are back in the ring. Rhodes with a finish hit on Jericho. Kick out. Jericho in the corner of the ring. Rhodes working on the arm of Jericho once again before adding multiple shots to the chest of Jericho. Back and forth between the two. Jericho's on the mat. Referee checks on him. On a bright red face, Jericho. Rhodes pulls Jericho back to his feet. Rhodes with a cover slam on Jericho for the 2 count. Rhodes knocks Jericho out of the ring, jumping over the top rope, taking a hitter, landing on face first as Jericho moves out of the way. Rhodes bleeding profusely, impairing his vision as his upper right eye is split. The doctor checks Rhodes' injury, but does not stop the match. Jericho raises his own hands in a victory walk around the ring, sitting in a chair in the ring. Rhodes makes his way back into the ring. Jericho kicks Rhodes. Jericho throws the chair out of the ring before pulling Rhodes to his knees and some strong right hands to the forehead of Rhodes. Jericho throws Rhodes out of the ring. Rhodes is hit by Hager on the outside of the ring. Rhodes climbs back up on the apron. Jericho stands Rhodes on the top rope. Abdomen first. Rhodes is struggling to his feet. Jericho pulls Rhodes towards him and begins punching Rhodes in the face once again. Rhodes builds momentum and finally retaliates on Jericho. Short-lived as Jericho counters, knocking Rhodes to the mat once again. Rhodes now in the corner of the ring as Jericho puts his boot on Rhodes' neck, shoving him into the turnbuckle even more. A shoulder shove into the abdomen of Rhodes, followed by multiple backhands and chops on Rhodes. Rhodes to the top rope for a moonsault attempt. Nobody's home. Jericho takes the opportunity for a pin attempt. Rhodes kicks out of 2. Jericho with a headlock on Rhodes, making his way back to a vertical suplex, a vertical base. Knee to the solar plexus of Rhodes, following Rhodes' elbow on Jericho. The crowd clapping and stopping, trying to help momentum for Rhodes, who is being stretched by Rhodes. Rhodes with a hip toss on Jericho. The crowd chanting, Cody, Cody, Cody again. As his head begins bleeding again. Drop kick by Jericho with another 2 count. Pin attempt. Jericho gets his knees between the shoulder blades of Rhodes, trying to lock in a submission. Rhodes makes his way back to his feet. Throwing a couple of good right hands. Rhodes with a diamond cutter and a 2 count pin attempt on Jericho this time. MJF is looking on from the outside of the ring, who is supposedly in Rhodes' corner, as Hager is in Jericho's corner. Rhodes powering up, feeding off the energy of the crowd. Rhodes with multiple knuckle knot blows on Jericho, who is sent to the outside of the apron. Rhodes with a major kick to the head of Jericho. Once again, the crowd chanting, Cody, Cody, Cody. Rhodes making his way outside the ring. Jericho picks Rhodes up and slams his body into the turn post on the outside. Rhodes laying on the outside of the ring. Jericho points at Rhodes, his mom, who smacks Jericho across the face. Rhodes with a spear, and once again, Rhodes' mom smacks Jericho. A quick embrace between Rhodes and his mother before Rhodes makes his way back into the ring. Rhodes with a whale drop on Jericho, another 2 count. Jericho is still laying on the mat. Rhodes with a woo before locking in a figure 4 on Jericho. The crowd cheering as Jericho is suffering and screaming while waving his hands. Jericho turns Rhodes over to counter the weight. Rhodes flips over as well and grabs the rope. Hager with another hit on Rhodes from the outside. Rhodes throws Jericho into Hager as Jericho stumbles backwards. Rhodes rolls him up for a pin attempt. Referee Aubrey sends from the match. Jericho grabs the title belt and waits for Rhodes to get back to his feet. Looks like he's been thrown out of the match. Rhodes is hit in the forehead with his own championship belt. Jericho throws it outside the ring before the referee sees what happened. Jericho crawls across the mat to Rhodes, throwing his arm over the chest of Rhodes. Kick out of 2. Rhodes makes his way back to his feet and hits crossbow on Jericho for a near fall. Rhodes looks spent with his cheek laying against the mat. Both men laying in the middle of the ring, barely moving. The crowd begins chanting, "This is awesome," over and over again. Both men struggling to their feet, to their knees. Right hands being exchanged by both men and make their way back to their feet. Rhodes with a little American Dream action. Rhodes with another close call, pinning Jericho, who kicked out of 2. Crowd chanting Rhodes' name again. Jericho counters the move by Rhodes and gets a 2 count of his own. Jericho is hanging on the top rope, trying to catch his breath. Rhodes doing the same thing on the mat in the center of the ring. Jericho walks over to Rhodes with a big boot to the back of the head. Jericho back control of the match, choking Rhodes with his knee on Rhodes' neck again in the second rope. Jericho takes off his belt and begins whipping Rhodes, who is crawling around the ring. Rhodes is hugging himself in pain in the center of the ring as the referee takes the belt from Jericho. Jericho pulls Rhodes back to his feet and sits on the top turnbuckle. Rhodes with a big kick on Jericho. Rhodes makes his way up top. Jericho trying to get the walls of Jericho like submission on Rhodes, who is making the long crawl towards the ropes. Crowd once again chanting Rhodes' name as he grabs the bottom rope. Jericho forces to let go. Jericho hammering away at the open wound of Rhodes. Referee tells Jericho to stop. Jericho shoves the ref. Rhodes then rolls up Jericho for a 2 count once again. Rhodes gets another Walls of Jericho submission move. MJF throws in the towel for Rhodes as he can't take watching the torture any longer. Jericho grabs the belt and exits the ring. After the match, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, looks distraught. He approaches Cody and he looks so emotional and upset that he had to throw in the towel. He tried to explain himself to Cody as Cody finally comes to. But he's in no mood to hear it. With the loss, Cody can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship for the rest of his career. MJF and Cody stand up while the inner circle celebrates with hashtag a little bit of the bubbly with Chris Jericho on stage. Finally, out of nowhere, it happens. MJF shows his true colors by taking out Cody with a cheap shot. The fans erupt with boos as MJF screams at Cody, yelling at him for being selfish and screaming that it's my time now as MJF heads to the back while fans are still booing. A couple of fans throw full drinks that splash all over MJF while the camera was doing a close-up. Unsanctioned main event, lights out match, Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. Omega Man X on Twitter. Pre-match video for the match was airing. Final non-match of the evening for Full Gear unsanctioned. So whoever wins doesn't get a victory at all. Count for the record. It's announced that the lights will go out when they come back on. AEW is not responsible for what happens during the unsanctioned matchup. Out first is Kenny Omega, who is announced as his music chimes in the arena as the power goes off at the top of the ramp. Omega makes his way down the ramp and enters the ring. Out next is Moxley as his music sounds in the arena. Moxley enters through the crowd as he is announced. Moxley quickly enters the ring. Both men are in each other's face instantly. The referee separates them, sends them to the corners. Moxley shoves the referee. The bell rings and the match begins. Omega with a high hook, taking Moxley down early on in the match. A right hand by Omega, black hole by Moxley, leaving Omega laying on the mat. Unsanctioned, huh? Let me get some garbage, Moxley says as he throws a trash can in the ring. Omega regains the offensive advantage on Moxley as they are both now on the outside of the ring. Omega with a double foot kick on Moxley over the barricade, bear thrown into the eyes of Moxley. Omega with a double foot stomp on the opposite of the stairs onto the chest of Moxley. Omega dominating Moxley backwards to the ring with random power moves, hitting with anything that isn't nailed down. Omega throws Moxley back in the ring. Crowd's going wild. Omega holding his arm against his stomach in the center of the ring as Moxley looks for a weapon under the apron. Moxley with a bat wrapped in barbed wire. A shot to the back of Omega. Another shot to the back of Omega. Moxley asks Omega if he wants to quit, to which he replies, no. Moxley puts barbed wire back on the back of Omega and stomps on it. Moxley attempts to wrap that barbed wire bat around the face of Omega. Omega regains speed in the matchup. Omega hits Moxley with a trash can followed by a pile driver. Omega back on the outside of the ring. Shaking his head no at each thing he finds under the apron. Omega looks again, finds a table that he set up against the barricade on the outside of the ring. Omega once again goes under the apron and grabs a big pipe wrapped with barbed wire. Moxley comes out of nowhere with a trash can, throwing it from ringside into the ring onto Omega. Omega, still holding the pipe, covered in barbed wire, makes his way into the ring. Attacking Moxley with a weapon, the crowd begins to chant AEW over and over. Omega with a pin attempt on Moxley, with Moxley now on the outside of the ring, looking under the ring for something. Finding a trash can, throwing it into the ring. How many trash cans they got? So far, you've seen 5 of them into the match. Moxley still holding the back of his head as Omega is setting something up. A trash can covering the top turnbuckle as Omega picks up Moxley and moves him closer to the corner. Omega flips off the top rope, holding the trash can, landing on Moxley for another pin attempt. Omega pulls out a large board covered in mouse traps, ready to snap. Omega pushes it into the ring. Moxley hits Omega. Omega and Moxley throwing elbows back and forth. Omega with a chop and a big knee. Moxley drops Omega with a thunderous clothesline. Moxley pulls the board covered in mouse traps closer to Omega. Moxley puts Omega onto the board. Mouse trap snapping as Omega jolts around the ring around on the board, trying to get off of it. Moxley with a big boot to the face of Omega. Moxley back under the apron. Moxley pulls out multiple AEW gold anchor chains, throwing them into the ring. A kick to the face of Omega. Sidewalk slam on the chains for Omega, followed by a pin attempt. Omega kicks out 2, neck breaker by Moxley, followed by another pin attempt. Omega kicks out again. Moxley absorbing every hit by Omega. Moxley wraps the chain around Omega's mouth, attempting to break his jaw as promised. Omega hits Moxley with a trash can lid as Omega is going for the rear naked choke. Moxley slamming Omega onto the mat before exiting the ring once more, looking under the apron again. Still trying to find something. Moxley returns to the ring with what looks like an ice pick. Omega fights back with the chain wrapped around his hand. Moxley attempts to hit Omega with an ice pick. Misses, stabbing the top turnbuckle. Omega counters, but Moxley regains control. Moxley calls for the finish, signaling the cutthroat. Snapdragon suplex by Omega onto Moxley. Once again, Snapdragon suplex again, then a third. Omega now wraps the chain around the neck of Moxley before throwing him over the top rope, basically choking Moxley out. Luckily, the blood on Omega's hands made him drop the chains. Dropping Moxley to the outside of the ring, Omega over the top rope. Both men crashing through the table that had been set up earlier against the barricade. Omega gets back to his feet. Moxley still laying on the table. Omega drags Moxley to his feet, then throws Moxley back into the ring before looking under the apron himself. Omega finds what he was looking for inside of a black bag tied up. Omega pulls out a broken piece of glass, seemingly from the table that Moxley broke. Omega attempts to cut the face of Moxley. Moxley grabs the glass in his hand and tightly as Omega goes back to the back, crushing the glass in the bag with his boot. Omega dumps all the shards of broken glass in the center of the ring. Moxley back up. Moxley slams onto the broken glass. Omega with a pin attempt. Moxley kicks out. Moxley is shaking while laying on the top of the glass. Omega begins to grab Moxley back and forth across the glass. Moxley uses the ropes to pull himself upright. Omega is seen picking up shards of glass as Moxley is rocking back and forth on the mat, grabbing the rope, trying to get back to his feet. Omega smiles, holding the glass. Omega is grabbing the jaw of Moxley, trying to shove the glass in his mouth. Moxley counters with a giant suplex onto the glass. Omega with a counter. Moxley climbs out of the ring, begins to crawl up the entrance ramp. Omega breathing heavily in the ring. Grabs the ice pick out of the turnbuckle, maybe a screwdriver. Omega starts slowly walking up the ramp, close behind Moxley. Omega drags the weapon across the forehead of Moxley in the middle of the ramp. Omega looks out to the crowd, yelling the Young Bucks to bring it. Telling the Young Bucks to bring it. Adam Page tries to reason with Omega. All men are saying, no, it's too much. Omega pleads with them as they agree to get whatever it is Omega wants to be brought in. They enter the arena with a barbed wire spider web of sorts. Omega lifts Moxley onto his shoulders. Like a child, Moxley breaks free. Countering, holding Omega in a fireman's carry. Moxley picks Omega up, suplexing Omega on the barbed wire. Both men now stuck in the barbed wire next to the ramp. The wire wrapped around their bodies. Several men come out, basically attempting to dig them out of the wire. Several referees and officials trying to drag both men out, who are covered in bloody marks. Omega is free first. Moxley so caught in the wire, it takes more effort to break him free. Moxley is up to his feet. Omega still struggling to his feet. Moxley assaulting anyone trying to help Omega. Moxley goes for a suplex. Omega counters, hitting Moxley with a big light. Double foot stomp by Omega onto Moxley. Both men laying inside the big light through the broken plexiglass by the stage next to the ramp. Both men make their way through the crowd. Omega almost chasing Moxley through the crowd. Moxley re-enters the ring, followed by Omega. Moxley gets a PS on Omega for the 2 count pin attempt. Moxley exits the ring, begins to cut away the ties, holding the canvas to the ring, cutting over half the ties, exposing the padding and wood under the canvas. Omega tried to crawl across the unlifted canvas. Moxley pulls Omega onto the bare wood. Omega counters with a back body drop. Omega looks mad, hitting Moxley with a knee to the back. Omega using Moxley's finisher in another pin attempt. Moxley kicks out. Omega climbs to the top rope. Moxley rolls out of the way. Omega missing the Phoenix Splash. Omega going face first onto the wood. Moxley with a cover. Omega kicks out. Moxley gets the upper hand now, getting an EPS on Omega, followed by the pin for the 3 count and the win. Winner of the match, Jon Moxley. After the match, Moxley leans in close to the camera and says, F you. That's how it works. The match highlights are re-shown. Announcers review the big moves of the match, amazing highlights, real fun of the match. Moxley trying to catch his breath, saying, be careful what you wish for, MFers. As he leans back at the turnbuckle, once again trying to catch his breath in the corner of the ring. Omega being looked over by the medics in the center ring as the show fades to black. That'll do it for the Full Gear. Jericho still your AEW champion after a while back and forth. Jericho would lock challenger Cody Rhodes in the Lion Tamer in the center ring for an extended period. MJF, who was the American Nightmare's corner, couldn't bear to watch his friend suffer. Tossed in the towel, giving Jericho the victory. After the match, MJF would face Cody and to say he was sorry, then low-blowed him. Screaming, it's my time, he exited. A fan in the Royal Orange Arena would throw a full beer onto MJF as he smiled during his exit. According to PW Insider, this was a serious consideration given to stopping the world title match between Cody and Chris Jericho after Cody landed headfirst on the ramp. Ultimately, the decision was left up to the doctor, Wayne Benjamin, who determined that Cody was fit to continue. There weren't any major injuries coming out of the pay-per-view. Hangman Page was a bit banged up, and it was initially thought that he suffered a stinger, but he is expected to be good to go for Wednesday's Dynamite. While the next AEW pay-per-view event wasn't announced during the Full Gear, it's expected to be announced shortly. Current plan, it's a whole quarterly pay-per-views with Double or Nothing being in Las Vegas and All In being Chicago. During the post-media scrum, Tony Khan addressed several additional topics. Asked about ratings, he revealed that they've been double the original expectation and that everyone is very happy where they're at. Khan shot down rumors that he was going to be appearing on Dynamite, saying that any mention of him was for breaking news about the promotion rather than for a future angle. Khan also addressed the incident between Jimmy Havoc and Delirious. That saw Havoc take a swing at Delirious only to be choked out. He downplayed the incident by stating that he's seen worse almost every week. It does not appear that there will be repercussions going forward for either man involved. When asked about AEW going international, Khan revealed that there are discussions to run events in both Canada and the UK, but nothing finalized as of yet. Khan also revealed it was a Young Bucks idea to bring the Rock and Roll Express in for their angle. When asked about the women's division, Khan responded by stating that there will be announcements soon about new women being signed to the promotion. There weren't any surprise appearances backstage at the event. Jungle Boy was backstage despite not being advertised or used, and Ring of Honor's Kelly Klein was there as well. Klein is married to AEW's BJ Whitmer, who was on an action as well. Also, Rhino and RVD did not wrestle as well. I think they were advertised as well for the pay-per-view, but did not wrestle. Thanks again, peace out, see you on video. That concludes my results for AEW Full Gear.